CTV News with Maya Johnson.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. 5 police officers have been suspended after a high-speed chase left a woman injured. The chase happened back in 2018 in the Plateau. And Caroline, they were chasing someone who was driving with a suspended license.
Yes, Maya, it was all over a suspended license, and the chase took part through downtown Montreal and the Plateau, Montreal. It involved several police vehicles from Montreal and provincial police as well. Before police called it off, officers had chased the suspect through an area that was filled with pedestrians, schools, parks, and bike paths, and it ended on Sherbrooke Street East after a woman in her 40s was seriously injured. Now, she had been out shoveling snow outside her home when she was struck. Quebec's Police Disciplinary Tribunal has now released its judgment of the event and concluded that the officers should not have pursued the suspect, who was driving with, as you said, a suspended license, due to the risk to the public of continuing the chase through a densely populated urban area. Now, the tribunal also imposed suspensions of between 30 and 42 days on the police officers and ordered 4 of the 5 officers to complete additional training related to police driving or pursuits. There is no word on how the woman, who again was seriously injured with multiple injuries during the chase, is doing today, all these years later. Maya?
All right. Thank you very much, Caroline. A Quebec judge has sentenced a 26-year-old man to 8 years in prison for his role in the fatal beating of a man outside of the Orange Julep restaurant. And a warning, the video you're about to see may be disturbing. Nejem Eddine Kirat was found guilty of manslaughter last month. He is the 3rd man to be convicted in connection with the death of 50-year-old Andrei Petuhov. The husband and father of 2 died from his injuries 2 days after he was beaten in the Orange Julep parking lot in May 2023. And we have more on the story on our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca. Police are still searching for a 41-year-old man in connection with a teen homicide in Shawinigan. Philippe Benoit now faces a first-degree murder charge in connection with the death of a 16-year-old. Police allege the teen was killed by a blunt object while being unlawfully confined. According to multiple reports, the victim was Benoit's son. Police are urging anyone who sees the suspect not to intervene, but to immediately call 911. A major piece of water pipe on Atwater was replaced today. In May, the city asked residents to reduce their water consumption to ease the stress on the system during the work. Today, the city confirmed water usage is still too high. It's part of critical repair work on a section that connects the Atwater filtration plant to the McTavish Reservoir. The work is needed so it doesn't burst and cause a geyser like the one on Notre Dame Street 2 years ago.
Pipe has been inspected many times, but the ability of our technology to do monitoring in real time had allowed us to identify this pipe as being one that if we didn't do something, it would pop. So clearly this is the anti-geyser. It's not as spectacular as what you saw back then, and that gave you great images, but it's much more productive, much more essential to be able to catch these things before they happen.
Work on Atwater is expected to wrap up by the beginning of September. Quebec's Transport Ministry says the St. Pierre interchange project has now entered the planning stage. But as Sweeta Rassi explains, there are some concerns.
Every day, thousands of drivers funnel through the St. Pierre interchange, one of the city's busiest. It's where Highway 20 meets Route 138, linking downtown Montreal, the West Island, the South Shore, and Trudeau airports. Now plans to rebuild it are officially underway.
For the next 2 years, our teams and experts will be focusing their work on preparing the concept for this new infrastructure.
Sarah Bin-Sadoun is a spokesperson for Quebec's Transportation Ministry. She says the work is necessary as the interchange is 60 years old and nearing the end of its life. The new elevated design will also make room for buses and bike lanes, making it easier for people in the neighborhood to get around.
I'm very happy.
If it's for the better, then, I don't think it's a problem,
But some nearby businesses are concerned. Ronan Baruch owns Falafel Saint-Jacques. He has also seen major construction projects before and says the traffic it caused kept customers away.
I understand that things needs to be done, but the question is they're being done. in a way that it's really blocking businesses for a very, very long period, and we can't afford to wait, you know.
Traffic expert Rick Lechner has a blunt warning for drivers.
It's going to be a nightmare.
He points to the nearby Turcotte interchange as a cautionary tale. Construction caused major disruptions for drivers, and its design continues to create a traffic bottleneck.
You've got 5 lanes of traffic westbound on Highway 20 merging into 2 at Ville-Saint-Pierre. It's just a terrible design.
The ministry says the St. Pierre interchange will not completely shut down. There will be detours, and it will all be addressed in the planning stage. And while the construction timeline is not clear yet, for those in the neighborhood, at this point, there is cautious optimism. Sweet Arasi, CTV News.
Looking across the country now with raging wildfires, there are more community evacuation orders in British Columbia as flames blanket a large area north of Kamloops. BC's wildfire service says crews from outside the province are arriving to help in the coming days. A Canadian intern accused of spying for a third country while at NATO military headquarters in Belgium has been denied bail. Officials say the suspect, allegedly a member of a criminal organization, is a Canadian national of Chinese origin. And a new survey for TD Bank suggests fraud may be on the rise in Canada. Nearly a quarter of respondents said they or a family member have been victims of financial fraud, and nearly half deal with attempted scams every week or even daily. We'll have more national news on CTV News at 5:30.
Weather brought to you by Gratian Scaff's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
So more of a gray day, and we've also seen some rain already, Anastasia.
That's right, Maya. We are continuing to see these periods of on and off showers. A note that from the greater Montreal area up toward Lac Saint-Jean and over toward Réservoir Gouin, we are seeing a severe thunderstorm watch. So that is as we have temperatures at 23 degrees in Montreal, feeling warmer again with the humidity at 31 or now 30 degrees. And it is this combination of humidity and warmth that is really creating these favorable conditions for thunderstorms, and we can expect to see more of that risk in the next few days. But in addition to that, looking at a warm temperature for tonight. So we had a low of 19 degrees in the last 24 hours. That's what we're expecting to come for tonight as well. We'll have continued showers again as we head all the way into tomorrow afternoon and evening. And we are looking at the mercury moving up to a high of 25 and holding on to those clouds and rain. So our futurecast showing us again rain continuing over the course of tonight. We see a little bit of a break as we get toward 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Lots of clouds in the skies, and then by 9 that rain is coming right back in, and it is expected to go beyond 7 p.m. tomorrow night. So keep that in mind. If you can, stay indoors, as Environment Canada says. That is the recommendation when thunder roars. We could see as much as 25 millimeters of rain coming in. Good news come Thursday, though. That is when we see it clearing out. We could get 1 millimeter in the morning, and then we're looking at sun and clouds for Friday. Maya.
Coming up, speaking their language, a new resource in Montreal for victims of domestic violence. Plus, the 12-year NHL partnership that will change the way you watch hockey. The Shield of Athena is hoping to connect with more victims of intimate partner violence through a change in communication strategy. It's launched a new website in more than 10 languages. Angela McKenzie reports.
For women living in abusive situations, getting help can feel impossible when facing a language barrier.
The languages on the website of the Shield of Athena are very representative.
The executive director of Shield of Athena, Melpa Kamateros, says the organization's new website has been a long time coming. It's now available in 11 languages, including Arabic, Ukrainian, and Greek.
The presence of language barriers, or the presence of or the non-presence of a network of support, or the presence of economic dependency. When it's encircled by other factors, the violence itself is reinforced.
The available languages on the site are spoken by Shield of Athena intervention workers and represent many of the more than 800 women seeking their services. The new site also contains resources, and there's a quiz for those unsure if they're being abused. Then there's the quick exit button. Camateros says abusers often monitor their partner's online activities.
This is a sort of abuse as well, because it's surveillance. So we figured that a quick exit button would be something that would be very, very helpful in case, the partner came in unexpectedly and, she wanted to leave the site.
She adds demand for these services has skyrocketed since the pandemic. The hope is the new website will help reach more women.
We wanted accessibility, we wanted equality, and we wanted, justice for everybody in obtaining, the same information that people in Canada and Quebec are entitled to.
Shield of Athena plans to add even more languages to its website to help ensure as many women as possible can find safe haven. Angela McKenzie, CTV News.
Despite the cost of many grocery items staying steady or even dropping this month, the price of protein is on the rise. That's according to new data released by the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University. Prices in the meat and fish category increased by 6.5%, adding nearly $6 to the average grocery bill. The biggest increase was in the price of bacon, which went up nearly 29%, followed by Atlantic salmon at 26%. In Quebec, the rise is partly due to demand during the construction holiday.
I want to look for promotions, and frankly, like we're right now past the middle mark of the construction holiday. So my guess is that you may actually find some good deals out there at the meat counter. So I wouldn't walk away altogether. Look for some deals. And my guess is that some merchants will want to move both beef and chicken for the second week of the construction holiday. So be on the lookout.
Just ahead, what a new poll says about Canadians' confidence in Mark Carney amid rising trade tensions. Rising trade war tensions between Canada and the U.S., 3 federal by-elections, and a possible star candidate for the PQ. Joining us now is political analyst Raphael Melanson. Hi, Raphael.
Good evening, Maya.
So let's start with the Trump administration's latest round of tariff threats. Canadians obviously fed up, and a new Angus Reid survey suggests they want Prime Minister Mark Carney to take a hard line and retaliate. But so far, the Prime Minister has been pretty tight-lipped about his plans. What do you think?
Indeed, Maya. Actually, what the Angus Reid poll is showing is that 62% of Canadians would like to see Prime Minister Carney hit back the U.S. Either 34% of them say dollar for dollar, so tariff for tariff. 28% say maybe something more moderate in terms of retaliation. But still, a strong majority of Canadians want to see the country hit the U.S. back. But in my point of view, Maya, at first when I heard Doug Ford last week following this new announcement by President Trump when he said we should hit them hard, at first, as a patriot myself, I thought it was a good idea. But the more I think about it, the more I see this is exactly what Trump wants us to do, because they are having midterm elections over there in November, and at the moment his administration is highly unpopular. As we know, his approval rating is now under 40%. Gas prices are soaring. Inflation, of course, it's still hitting hard Americans, and of course the war in Iran, which is going nowhere for the Trump administration. So he needs to deflect the attention, the public's and the media attention at the moment, from the problems they have internally. And so if ever we were to retaliate and hit the Americans back hard, that would give him actually arguments to pursue his rhetoric against Canada and to rally his base, of course. So if ever we were to retaliate, we might be playing Trump's game in the end.
Interesting perspective there. Meantime, confidence in Carney, you talked about Trump's approval rating here in Canada. Carney, the confidence is dropping. Less than half of Canadians think he's in a good position to negotiate with the Trump administration and secure a good deal. So he seems to be slipping a bit there.
Indeed, it's well, the confidence of Canadians is going down certainly, but the question is, would it be any different with any other leader? Would it be any different with Pierre, for instance, as Prime Minister? And I think at the moment the problem is not on our side with our leadership. The problem is that we're dealing with a bully and somebody who's highly unpredictable and who changes his mind the morning after he says something. So of course it's difficult to deal with Donald Trump at the moment, but the best thing we can do at the moment, especially when you're dealing with a bully, when a bully is attacking you or insulting you in the schoolyard, the best thing you can do is to ignore him rather than giving him what he wants, which is a reaction when he's poking the bear.
Well, speaking of the Prime Minister, he's announced 3 federal by-elections in BC, Ontario, and Quebec. They'll be held on August 31st, which coincides with the provincial election campaign here in Quebec. That brings us to the provincial parties introducing their candidates, and the PQ may have recruited a familiar face to run. We're hearing reports about former PQ MNA and former City Councillor Elsie Lefebvre. So with 30 seconds left, what do you think of that?
It's a big catch for the PQ. We don't know yet where exactly Elsie Lefebvre will be running. It will be on the island of Montreal, that we know already. But you know, she was an MNA for Laurier-Dorion for 3 years under the PQ, and then she represented the same area at City Hall for 8 years. So she might be running again in Laurier-Dorion, facing the incumbent MNA Andrés Fontecilla, who's with Québec Solidaire at the moment. So we can expect a strong battle in this area, and it's going to be certainly interesting to follow because she's very well known among Francophone voters particularly. She has been for the past 6 years a columnist and a political commentator with Québécois media. So a very strong candidate, a very well-known name among Francophone voters, particularly for the PQ here.
All right. Thank you, Raphael, as always, for your insights. We appreciate it, and we will speak to you again very soon.
Absolutely, and it's always a pleasure, Maya. See you next time.
Turning now to international news, a powerful magnitude 7.1 earthquake rocked Japan's southern main island of Kyushu. Dozens of people are missing or injured. Roads, bridges, and buildings are damaged, and part of a shopping center has collapsed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in Washington today meeting with President Donald Trump. It's their first meeting since the two leaders launched a joint war against Iran. They're discussing the framework agreement they signed with Lebanon over the Israel-Hezbollah war and the expansion of the Abraham Accords. Also in Washington today, a funeral was held for Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. Benjamin Netanyahu and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky attended the service. The 71-year-old Trump ally died suddenly earlier this month at the age of 71. We'll have more international news on CTV News at 5:30. Still to come, a summer camp showing campers the possibilities for their professional futures. Rogers and Amazon Prime have announced a 12-year NHL partnership. Starting this coming season, all Wednesday night games in English and French will be available exclusively on Prime. The streamer will also show 2 first-round playoff series and 1 second-round playoff series through a sub-licensing agreement. The deal comes after CBC said it will no longer air NHL games. There's a new summer camp for teens who are curious about working in the trades. Christine Long has that story.
Making friends and learning about pipe fittings, soldering, welding, and plumbing installations. Liam Murray says he's picking up skills at this summer camp.
Because if you're like more of a hands-on person, it's a fun thing to do.
Instructors from the Verdun Adult and Career Center give their campers hands-on experience in the school's labs. Willie Theriot has been a plumber since 1991 and can spot aptitude in some of these possible apprentices.
Just by the way they handle their tools, the way they, attitude. But things could change, so I train them good and they get better. They get much better.
In 1 week, this camp covers technical learning, essential tools, and safety practices.
All of our campers are from the school board, the Lester Pearson School Board, so they're all part of our network, our secondary schools. They're between the ages of 14 and 16, and so we're hopefully giving them that earlier exposure to trades as a viable study and career pathway.
A first in Quebec, this free camp is designed for curious minds and potentially future builders.
We're actually surprised that they've been concentrating on the projects, and I've hardly seen any of them on their iPhones.
Leah Birchenough says she's interested in construction because AI can't do this kind of work.
I just really like hands-on jobs, plus trades is where the money's at.
Plans are already in the works for a 2-week camp next summer. No commitment is required, but certainly this real-world experience has sparked some interest in skilled trades. Christine Long, CTV News.
So Anastasia, earlier you were telling us about the thunderstorm possibilities. Is there still a warning there?
Yes, Maya. We are still seeing a severe thunderstorm watch for the greater Montreal area. And along with that, looking at continued rain. By the end of today, we could see up to 10 millimeters, and there is more to come as we head into tomorrow. We're looking at a wake-up temperature at 21 degrees, and we could get roughly 25 millimeters tomorrow. So lots of rain to come. You'll want to plan for that for sure. Watch out for any flash flooding. Along with that, now expecting a slightly cooler daytime high. So we're down to 22 degrees as the high now from 25, and there is some more rain to come after that. Now, looking to Thursday, that is when we expect the rain to clear out. We could get 1 millimeter more before that happens. Then we're looking at sunshine as we head to the end of the week. So all is well that ends well. We could hit a high of 28 degrees, but that humidity is expected to take into effect as well. Maya?
Thanks, Anastasia. That's it for us. Mitsumi will be here at 6 o'clock with more on the major operation to replace a massive water pipe, plus an item fished out of the water that's caught the attention of police. And now here is Sandy Ronaldo with CTV National News.